Hey everyone, it's Michael Beresford here from OpenCorp for today's Property Wealth WOD. What we thought we'd do today, while I'm still in my 30s, I thought it'd be really relevant to talk about investing in your 30s and be able to provide a bit of an action plan for people in their 30s and also discuss some of the common barriers that we see when we talk to people in their 30s around why they feel they can't invest or whether they think that it's too late for them to start or whatever it might be. Your 30s are really a perfect time to be able to move your investment journey from first or second gear really into overdrive. And the reason for that is because typically you've been in the workforce for a 5 to 10 year period, opportunities are coming up, income is increasing at the most rapid rate that it will anytime throughout your working career. So really the ability to maximize your borrowing capacity and maximize the out-of-pocket cash flow to be able to build that portfolio is really in its prime in this age group. Okay, so if we think about what the action plan is, if you're in your 30s and you're thinking maybe it's too late for you to start because you're hearing all this stuff in the press about property prices growing, rest assured, property prices have done that forever and they will continue to do that forever. So it's far better to start now, or at least start understanding what's possible and capitalize on that, because let's be honest, most people these days living well into their 80s and even 90s, 30 is still pretty young in the grand scheme of things. So what is the action plan? The first thing is to understand what your goals are. Okay, and you might not have those crystal clear, but what is important to understand is why do you want to invest? Why do you want to improve your financial situation? Okay, it might be as simple as be able to afford the dream home in 15 to 20 years from now. It might be to pay the school fees for the kids. It might be to have 2 holidays a year versus 1 every 2 years. Whatever it is, but understand what's motivating you financially to improve your situation. Okay, it might be an improved retirement. The pension's not going to be great. That is the first step, because if you don't understand where you want to end up, you'll never actually be able to put a plan in place to achieve that goal. Secondly, we talk about this a lot. Understand your borrowing capacity. That's fundamental. If you don't understand what you can actually borrow to, then you're wasting time looking at properties and doing research, because chances are you're probably going to be looking for something that you either can or can't afford, the cash flows and all of those associated financial components of that. So understand what's possible. Thirdly, I hear a lot of people that have been doing research for a 10-year period and think that they're property investors. The black and white truth is, guys, to be able to invest in property and get the benefits of that, you actually have to buy property, okay? Step 3, the most important one, take action, okay? Procrastination is the grave in which opportunity is buried. I learned that about 15 years ago from a mentor of mine. It's so true, okay? Don't miss opportunities. Don't believe you need to be an expert to start. Just take action and start that investment journey, okay? Fourthly, be patient, okay? In order to be able to build serious wealth through property, we need to be able to take advantage of compound growth, and compound growth works over time. There aren't many effective investment strategies where you get a return pronto, okay? Tats Lotto is probably the only one. You can take your chances with that, but this is a far more proven and effective approach to being able to take advantage of all of the resources you've got in your 30s to achieve success. So if that sounds fairly straightforward and simple and sounds like a recipe that you could execute, let's look at some of the reasons why people typically don't take action in their 30s and set themselves up to achieve some great results. The first is risk aversion, okay? Now, risk aversion. Everyone's got a different risk appetite, okay? Just because you're conservative doesn't mean that you can't invest. Some of the most successful investors that I know actually are quite risk averse, and that plays to their strengths, because provided they understand all of these things and take action, they're making considered investment choices, they're not chasing get rich quick, and they're applying a proven process. Okay, so by all means, understand your risks and understand how to mitigate them. but don't let that paralyze you to the point where you can't take action. Secondly, when I mention retirement to someone in their 30s, that seems so far away that they can't get their head around. And that's true, okay? But strengths are weaknesses and vice versa. So just because retirement seems so far away that you've got so much time, you don't have to worry about it in your 30s. Conversely, the opportunity to be able to build a portfolio and get massive results is far more powerful than not worrying about it because it's so far away. So where you might be thinking that you've missed the boat or haven't been able to start, that's probably only been a 10-year period since your 20s, but you've got another 40 or 50 years of living to be able to do that, okay? The third one, my personal favorite, it is the number one thing that cripples people from being financially successful. We call it white noise. What does that mean? Listening to the news, reading the newspaper, reading magazines that are not industry and expert specific, okay? There are a lot of opinions out there. Social media is full of opinions and it's a very instant reaction to things that very much count against you when you're trying to apply a proven process over time. Remember, most people in Australia don't build a successful portfolio. Don't listen to the masses, trust your convictions, understand what's possible for you, take control of your circumstances. The final one is there's a lot of change happening during your 30s. As I said, I'm still in my 30s. I've changed jobs in my 30s. I've got married in my 30s. I've had a couple of kids in my 30s. So a lot of changes around family circumstances. What does that mean for your borrowing power? What does that mean for your actual cash flow out of pocket? What does it mean in terms of your lifestyle and making sure that if you are down to a single income for a period of time, that you can still live and enjoy life and not be hating this investment process, okay? In short, it's about taking action when you can and making sure that you set up buffers and protections. So if you are down to a single income for a period of time, your portfolio is not impacting the way that you want to live day to day. All of this stuff here is very easy to work through when you have clarity on your action plan, okay? So to give you a really quick case study in terms of what's possible in your 30s, to paint a bit of that bigger picture for you, consider this. If you started out in your 30s, okay, and let's say that in the decade between 30 and 40, you bought just 3 properties, and let's say that each of those were $500,000 each as a round number. You're going to establish $1.5 million worth of asset in your 30s, okay? And let's say that was all that you did, just 3 properties, and you just held them over time. Exercise this patience, okay? Let's assume that you had 100% debt. Not going to be possible, but it just makes the numbers easy and very conservative. In your 40s, well-chosen property will double every 10 years on average. So that portfolio will be worth $3 million in your 40s, it'll be worth $6 million in your 50s, and it'll be worth $12 million in your 60s. Your debt will not change. So, this is just assuming you're paying interest only over the whole period. You've got over $10 million worth of net assets when the choice comes to retire or live the kind of lifestyle that you want. Okay, so the takeaway for everyone in their 30s, be really clear on your action plan. Don't let the barriers disarm you from being able to take action. And remember that time is the biggest friend that you have when it comes to achieving massive wealth through compound growth. This is a case study on it. Good luck with your investing. I hope that's helped you understand what's possible. We'll see you next time.